Delanco Township Committee Meeting of June 29, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Delanco Township Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road, Delanco, New Jersey. Just go live.
I'm not saying
We are recording.
it's not necessary. Oh, we are doing. Okay. Well, yeah, it's already been recorded. Oh, okay.
We are recording.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 29th, 2026 Township Committee Meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mr. McFadden.
Here.
Mr. Olet.
Here.
Ms. Seuss. Here. Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Here. Also present are Township Administrator, Mrs. Seminara, Mrs. Russell, our Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Hart, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, and Mr. Warren, our Police Chief. Would you please join me in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bev, would you please read the sunshine statement?
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the December 28, 2025 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Live stream statement. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the Township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice. Please silence your cell phones and refer to the rules governing public comment attached to this agenda.
Thank you, Beth. First, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Mr. Maury James from Newton's Landing, who passed away recently. So please join me in that moment of silence. Thank you. The first item on the agenda tonight is ordinance, public hearing ordinance 2026-09, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the Township of Delanco providing for and determining the rate of compensation of officers and employees. This is the second reading by title only and the public hearing. So the meeting is now open to the public for this ordinance only. There being none, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public and ask for a motion to approve ordinance 2026-9.
So moved.
Carolyn,
Second.
second. Phil McFadden, roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Mr. McFadden.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes. The next item is the promotion for Sergeant Lippick, authorizing Resolution 2026-97, authorizing the promotion of Adam Lippick to the position of Sergeant in the Delanco Township Police Department. Do I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Carol? Fern? Roll call?
Mr. Bartlett.
Unequivocally, yes.
Mr. McFadden.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Well deserved. Where's Adam? I'm going to swear you in.
One and out.
Are you going to repeat after me?
I, Adam Lippick,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of office of the Delanco Township Police Sergeant,
all the duties of the office of the Delanco Township Police Sergeant,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Good, take some picture. Thank you. Thank you.
Just half that, right? Before proceeding with the consent agenda, or with the comments from the public, I first wanted to let the public know that the ordinance 2026-11 regarding the parking issue is not on for first reading. It is only on for discussion item. There is no ordinance that's going to take place tonight, so just so you know that. It was put on the agenda by mistake, and I apologize for that. So at this time, we'll open the meeting to the public for comments and questions, agenda items only, session 1. You come forward. Sure, you can. It's on the agenda, but it's going to be a discussion item. Sure. Just state your name and address for the record.
Okay. I had to write it down. Hi, my name is Donna Morris. My husband and I live at 101 Vine Street, right outside the entrance to Hawk Island. Before the parking permits and restricted hours, I did not feel safe living here. The unlawful, rude, and ignorant people who parked on our street were a daily concern, especially on the weekends and holidays. They carried their coolers and 30-packs into the woods, then left their trash and dirty diapers on our street, so we had to clean it up. They trespassed on our property, and when I told them to get off our property, they looked at me. They did understand the word police, but that I had to worry about retaliation. I also came out my back door to see a man standing in the street, peeing. They were also stealing peaches off my neighbor's tree. Is this the kind of weekend visitors you want to accommodate? If so, please make parking available in the woods so we don't have to deal with all the trouble coming back. The restricted parking did cause an improvement in how many and how types of people that come. Not living near Hawk Island, you may not know how it was or how it is now. People do park on Vine Street on the weekend. They are normal, respectful people. The old man with his old dog, the men going fishing, the women going for a walk in the woods, the dad taking his child fishing. These people do not cause me to have any concerns, so I do not report it to the police. The police honestly do not patrol on the weekend in the street or in the woods on their four-wheeler. Why don't you put a camera on the pole outside Hawk Island entrance? Then you would really know what goes on during the day and the strange things that goes on after dark. Explain to me why it is supposed to be my job to call the police and risk retaliation. What about when our friends and our family want to come visit and have no place to park on the weekend? The new hours you are proposing is until 10 p.m. Why would you want people in the woods after dark? In closing, it seems to me it's more about the visitors than the tax-paying residents. You want to allow people to come park on the weekend, then leave our no, if you want to let people come and park on the weekend, leave our no parking signs and have Public Works clean an area in the woods for parking. My husband and I know it can be done so that residents can enjoy our peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on agenda items? Mike?
Name's Mike Stinger. I live at 410 Orchard, and I feel the same way she does. All the money we spent for all the signs, all the labor, and now you want to change all the signs again. Why can't we just make a space in the woods for about 10 cars, throw some gravel down, then they don't bother any of the neighbors whatsoever? I mean, if you don't live right there, you just don't understand it. And changing the hours and letting people back there in the dark is just, that's ridiculous.
We're not
Can I respond?
Yes.
It says 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's not about people in the woods. Other tax-paying residents have the same issue. The residents who live on Walter Avenue, they don't qualify for a permit. So their issue is they're on a one-way street. There's not a lot of parking on that street as well. A couple of meetings ago, there was an issue in Walter where they contacted members of the committee and asked could they remove some of the parking that was for handicap, for people who no longer resided there, to create more parking space. So their issue is that if they have people over, they're also tax-paying residents as yourself.
Correct.
Normally, in the past, they were able to park on Orchard. Now, the way that the ordinance is written, from 6 p.m. on Friday all the way to 8 a.m. on Monday morning, no one else can park on Orchard. So same tax-paying residents that live on Walter, Vine, as well as Washington, they can't have anybody park on Orchard. So that's what they were inquiring. This isn't about people parking out on the island. It's about, if you want to speak, you got to come up to the podium, man. It's people that are tax-paying residents as yourself. They want to be able to park on
Then
Orchard,
give them a sticker.
but they didn't qualify for it based off the ordinance.
Well, then change whatever you do back there.
But you're going to have ordinances and tickets for people who are tax-paying residents as yourself?
Say again?
They're tax-paying residents as yourself.
Yes, but if you put a sticker on their car, they can park anywhere they want down there
So-
because they're local residents.
But, so the whole town's going to have stickers?
I'm speaking about the people on Walter Street like you're speaking
But
about.
that's what I'm saying, but no one else could either. Though. They say they have someone that lives in town, wants to come visit, park on Orchard to Walter, their house on Walter, they'd have to have a sticker
That's
too.
why I'm saying it. 10-car parking lot back in the woods with some.
But they don't live in the woods. They're not going to the woods. This isn't an increase people going out to the woods. That time for the parks is still the same. At Duff's, the parks are closed. That's staying the same. We're just increasing the people have the ability to be able to park till 10 o'clock. Right now, if someone has somebody over and they're visiting, their guests have to leave by 6 o'clock and park somewhere else in town. And they're tax-paying residents too, so they're calling and saying, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
but they're a quarter of a mile away from the area that we were speaking about.
who is?
You're talking about
No,
Walter Street?
no, Orchard is the whole street. You have to have a permit.
I understand that.
So that's what I'm saying. So from Orchard, you have Washington, Walter, and Vine, as well as Rancocas. If people who are also tax-paying residents, this is what I'm getting calls about. Well, why can't we park there too? If we live here, we're tax-paying residents as well. You are. So that's why we presented it to the committee. But you're misconstruing it, thinking it has something to do with the island. It doesn't. These are other tax-paying residents that want to be able to park on a public street because they pay taxes here. It has nothing to do with the island and people going on the island. It's strictly being able to park on a street that they pay taxes for, just like yourself. That's
got
it.
you.
But it has nothing to do with the island.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's not enough parking on Walter?
On Walter, and the residents, again, you can drive, when you go home, take a ride down there. They're jam-packed on that street. That's why, like I said, they contacted Mayor Fitzpatrick and asked her, hey, can we free up some spaces, possibly with like these handicap spots for people that moved away, so they can have some more spaces, but there's not a lot of space to park on Walter.
I'm home 24/7
I know.
because I'm retired,
I know.
okay? People don't park on Orchard, nor do they park on Walter, close to the island, on the other side of Orchard, on Walter. I rarely see any cars parked there.
They're not allowed to.
Very, not during the week, after.
But that was the old issue too, that there wasn't a bunch of people parking before. But right now, you're taking, this takes the ability for regular tax-paying residents to spontaneously just want to plan a party at their house in a town that they pay taxes in, and have guests come over and be able to park on the street that they pay taxes for as well, and they
Come
can't.
here and get placards, just like I have to do with my guests?
Not according to the ordinance, no.
Then change that part of the ordinance. I gotta give my guests placards, or what I said was, if I'm having a big party, I'll come and tell the chief of police that I'm
And
having
you'll
a
get extra,
party.
but they only afforded that to the residents that lived on 100 block of Vine.
I think
in
there's
Walter.
a better solution to this than what's going on.
But again, you think it's okay that people can't park on a street that they pay taxes in?
No, I don't feel that way.
Okay.
They should be able to park.
They pay taxes too, and that's what they're lamenting about to me. So all I can do is present the information to the committee, and we go from there. But I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with the island. That's a separate entity. This here, we're just regular tax-paying residents in this town that we're like, wow, we can't even park on a street that we pay taxes for too, and can't get a permit under the current ordinance. So that's where it stems from.
My feeling is that they're few and far between that do park there.
But they don't have the opportunity to.
Once or twice.
But they don't have the opportunity to. According to the ordinance, they're not even allowed right now.
Yeah, but then can't they call you and say we're having a party, go and so on?
No.
Not after 12:30 on a Friday,
No.
because they're closed.
Because that's the thing, like, even yourself, say on Friday, you and your wife decide at around 2 o'clock, you know, it's gonna be nice out tonight, hon, let's have some family over. Oh, I only have a couple of permits, well, you can't run to the township and get some more permits because the offices are closed. You yourself would then have to tell some of your guests, hey, you want to park way up the block.
We can make up.
But I'm just saying,
we can make up
it just didn't make
all
sense.
sorts
It didn't make
to
sense.
cover this,
Yeah.
but Still, I don't think it's right.
All right, well, like, the other taxpaying residents didn't
Thank you,
feel it was
Mike.
right either. They can't park on the street,
Yeah.
they pay taxes for. Like, they were
Yeah,
upset
you keep
about it.
going over the same thing.
That's their concern, not the island.
There's a way around it, and you guys just don't want to do it.
One at a time, please. Go ahead, Donna.
God, we can't make
I
this
just
up.
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand residents. What about all the people that are coming that are not residents? Can I call you and have you come out and check and see if they're residents?
They don't have to be residents to utilize the park, man.
Huh?
They don't have to be a resident to utilize the park.
I thought it was for residents of Delanco,
No, that park
for
is,
anybody.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, boy.
Yes, ma'am.
To the podium, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Deb Stinger, 410 Orchard Avenue. My thing is, we're also tax-paying
Yes,
citizens.
yes, ma'am.
So why do we have to deal with coming out and picking up dirty diapers, or our guests coming out and doing that? It's not fair to us as well. We need a better solution.
How, you had to do that this year?
Yes,
This year?
yes, and we called the police.
And they come out?
Yes. Well, go ahead.
We've told cops a couple times and they don't come in. They
You're-
might be tied up on other stuff, and I totally understand.
I have all the calls for your street for this year, for all of 24 and of 25. You're shaking your head. You telling me I don't?
Well, I'm not, no,
No, I'm talking to the
not
gentleman
talking
here.
you.
I'm talking to her.
For 5 hours, nobody came.
When was this?
Last month or a month before that, I called and I waited for 5 hours and the police never came.
Did you ask them to speak to an officer?
Not asked.
Because, ma'am, only reason I asked you that, if we get a call from dispatch, and they tell us that the caller didn't request to speak to an officer, the officers are gonna go respond out to what the problem was, and if they don't see anything, they'll call and say there was, someone's going on a ride. But if you didn't ask to speak to them, then they'll clear the call. But if you ask to speak, then they'll come out and they'll meet with you.
I don't want to come out and speak because obviously the people that are out there
Barbara, we can only have one person at a time, so Donna, are you done?
I'll let Donna come on.
Come on back up, Ms. Dunn.
One person at a time, Donna.
She gets it worse than we do. I called, and this was a while ago, and I asked, and I waited for 5 hours, and the officer never came.
Did you ask to speak to an officer? That's what I'm saying. When you call, because you're saying to me that you don't want anybody to know that you called. But, so dispatch is going to relay that to the officer. So if you don't want to speak to them, they'll go and handle the call, and then they'll clear. But they won't come to you if
Right,
you don't
I
want
said
them.
I wanted to remain anonymous.
To see that they're not
I
going
gave
to
them
come.
my phone number, but I said I wanted to be.
So if you want to be anonymous, they're not going to come to your house, they won't call you. If you request a call back, you have to tell dispatch that, and then they would call you. But
I didn't want to call, I just wanted them to come out. They
But-
never came
but
out.
They did come. I have every call dispatch here, and when you call, we respond. They're not gonna come to your house because you wanna be anonymous, so we don't wanna take the anonymity away from you by having them go to your door. Okay? So do we.
I know they weren't there.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Thank you.
It's getting
Anyone
ridiculous.
else? I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. And move on. As I said, ordinance 2026-11 is taken off of the consent agenda item. We'll just have a discussion on that. The first item, consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda.
We missed comments and reports.
Okay. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. I'm going to proceed with this and go back to reports. So, Resolution 2026-98. Resolution to reject bid 2025 Community Block Development Grant, CDBG. Resolution 2026-99, refund of construction permit overpayment. Resolution 2026-100, refund of inspection and application fee overpayment. Approval of business license, 2026-35, 2026-38, as listed below. 2026-36 Joy Mart, 2026-37 was omitted, 2026-38 pied out. Payment of bills. Approve the payment of bills in the amount of $362,090.72 as per the bill list runs dated June 16th and June 29th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Mr. McFadden.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Now we'll go back to reports. Township Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one quick update to the Babe Ruth Park. It is, as you can see, everything's put together. We are waiting for the surface, so that should be delivered. If it wasn't today, tomorrow, weather permitting. I'm not sure how the heat is going to factor into this, but about a week by the time they place it and it cures. So we're looking at hopefully by next week, park
Good.
will be done.
Thank you. It looks great. Department heads. Chief.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Bev, clerk.
Just a quick reminder that the municipal offices will be closed this Friday, July 3rd, in honor of Independence Day.
Thank you. Deputy clerk, Erin.
One thing I have tonight is that the hometown hero banners are still for sale until the 31st of July. And see them online at CMI Legacy. You can do it online or you can come in person. We have 27 orders as of today.
Oh, great.
So we're hoping that we get everything in and then the flags, or the banners can look like all.
Thank you. Township Committee, Carolyn.
Thank you. It's been a quiet couple weeks, not too much going on. I've basically been focused on the America 250 event, which was yesterday. It was an awesome event. Tons of people out there. It was great to see the community come together for a beautiful evening on the river. So thanks to everyone involved that helped plan, all the vendors that participated, and all the staff that helped get that together, as well as the police department for their help yesterday and Public Works. So it was a awesome night. So I've been busy doing that the past couple weeks. I was not available to attend the shade tree meeting, so I can't report on that, and nothing really else to report.
Thank you. Fern?
Let's see. The history board has been busy. Back on June 14th, we took part in the Mount Holly, or the Burlington County History Fair in Mount Holly. It was a nice event, and lots of booths to visit, etc. But we had the alligator on display there. And then yesterday, at the waterfront, we had, again, the history board tent. Again, thank you to Recreation and Public Works and Police Department, the Fire Department, the folks that were involved there in setting things up, planning things, and looks like what I could see, folks had a good time. The band was great, and having the food trucks or having the local vendors, our folks here in town, Vinnie's, Lou's Deli, Hideout, they were there selling goods, and so it was nice to see them as part of our community event there. The history board will be set up at the farm fair from July 21st to the 25th, out there on 206. I think that's Columbus, is where that's at, and so we'll have a portion of the tent set up there. Again, I believe we're going to have the alligator out there and some handouts, etc. And let's see, library, during the month of July, they have story time. So if you're looking for something for the little guys and you need to get into some air conditioning, it's a good spot to go. Spend a little bit of time there. And they also have take and make small crafts available. Again, if you're looking for something for the kids to be occupied, stop by the library and pick up one of their kits there. This past Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the library had their book sale. Because of lack of storage for the books that we had left over, they were boxed up and they were donated. This morning there was a company that Ann Moore, who lives here in town and had worked for the county, was able to set us up, and they picked up, I think it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 35 or 40 boxes of books that got donated. So library, the JIF insurance fund meeting that we had, big topic there was make sure that your employees stay hydrated and stay cool during the summer months, because heat causes problems on the body, and make sure they get breaks and stay hydrated. Let's see. Oh, on that note, Beverly has done a great job over the years with the Beverly Bee and putting it out there. But look before you lock your car. Hot cars cause problems for children, senior adults, pets. So we get into the mindset of doing routine things. You come out of your driveway and you're used to making a left, but you need to make a right, and you end up forgetting something, and or you make that left instead of the right, and so you end up forgetting someone in the back of the car. It could be a catastrophe. It was suggested from the police department that we should put something in the back seat. Put your cell phone, ladies, your purse, you got a briefcase or tools, something that you have to, you're not going to leave the car without it. And just so that you open up that back door, you take a look in that back seat, make sure no one's there, or no animals are there. Let's see. And the other thing that we had on, did the Cyber 2 training session. I got that done. Again, with the festivities yesterday, the mayor and I were able to participate in Riverside's parade. They were well organized, and they had a nice crowd along the way, and so that was a fun thing to be able to do. And let's see, we did graduation. We may have reported that last meeting, and we also had the Office of Emergency Management, which I think Scott will touch bases on. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Fern. Scott?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Busy last month. Attended the Fire Commission and Fire Company meetings, normal course of business as usual. Attended the Hawk Island cleanup. Most of us were out there as well. Senator Singleton was out there. We got a lot of trash out there. Not as much as normal, which is good. That means people are actually throwing out their trash. The proper people who are throwing out their trash, not the beachcombers from Philly who leave it on the beach. But we got a lot of stuff out of there. I think we got 3/4 of a dump truck full. But it was a good day. Thankfully, it wasn't too hot until after we got out of there. So thank you to Senator Singleton for coming out and supporting that and publicizing that event as well. I attended our Code Enforcement Subcommittee meeting with Ms. Seuss and our Code Enforcement Officer Ed Ruggiano, going over all the various code enforcement issues within the town. As Fern mentioned, we had the 8th grade graduation over the last month, attended that, of course. I did not attend the Board of Ed meeting as I was ill that night. We had our OEM planning meeting for National Night Out. That was, I'm going to say, last Thursday. Does that sound about right? This whole weekend's been a blur, so forgive me. We did planning for the event because we're going to have fireworks out there, so there's a lot of safety that has to be accommodated for as far as who could go where on the field while the fireworks are occurring. So there's going to be zones that people can go in, cannot go in. It's going to be a great event. We're looking forward to having that happen. And let's see, we mentioned the 250th celebration yesterday at the park. That was a great event. Eventually I'll wake up from that. We got there early in the morning to help set up, and we finished breaking down in the rain last night, and then the day before we're also setting up. And finally, as Fern mentioned, hydration is key. This week it's going to be 104 degrees on Thursday and Friday. Anyone having a 4th of July celebration, doing a little drinking, make sure to have some water in there too, because that heat will get you. And it's not going to be pretty. It's 96 Wednesday, 104 Thursday, 104 on Friday.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you, Mayor.
Carolyn?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phil?
All right. I'll make mine short. I was able to perform 3 weddings this month. And like Matt had said, I attended, started at the OEM meeting and then had to run over to the 250th meeting. I was able to attend the 8th grade graduation and numerous centennial meetings. Also, we had our first concert at Hawk Island Marina on 6/4. The band was Rough Cut. We had an estimated 500 people in attendance. It was a very good start off of the concert series. 6/17, we had an additional concert at Hawk Island Marina. It was moved to a Friday night, and it was actually a low attendance, probably about 250. Also, like they had mentioned about the 250 event yesterday, it was actually a very good event. There was a lot of people that were happy and enjoyed themselves. And also, I want to note that the concert at Historic Waterfront Park on 7/2 will be canceled on Thursday night due to the severe heat. The next concert will be at Hawk Island Marina on the 16th. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to be short, but we had the Memorial Day parade. We managed to have our parade on the 24th in spite of the rain and drizzle, and the residents were out with umbrellas, but it was really nice to have the ceremony at Gateway Park. Senator Singleton spoke briefly as we honored all members of the military who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. I did attend the Shade Tree meeting. Bill Madden-Levitz had presented the Community Forestry Management Plan, and it was supposed to be noticed to the other members, I thought, of the Township Committee because it had to have a public hearing. There were a couple trees that will be taken down as requested by Todd and Michelle Burke, and 2 additional trees at 321 Lilac and 417 Poplar that were dead. The tree across from 208 Larchmont will be trimmed, and pavers were recommended for 44 Pennington. Living Springs, I met with the seniors at Living Springs and distributed a handout with contact information for various matters, discussed the Office on Aging, and provided them with phone numbers to call for a service booklet. We discussed the upcoming events in town. The residents questioned what is being done about ticks. I was not aware of any programs other than to dress with long pants, tuck them in your socks, and wear long sleeves if you plan to be gardening or walking on any trails. Pizza was delivered and enjoyed by all. The seniors enjoyed a luncheon at Fratelli's and will not meet again until September. Sewer Authority, the system updates for Hickory Street and Newton's Landing Pump Station were approved. The relining issues on Larchmont and Delview from manhole to manhole will begin on June 29th. The operator's report is on file, and our next meeting is July 14th via Zoom. I attended the HOA meeting following a meeting I had with the Sewer Authority. Debbie, our administrator, and Harry Fox, our engineer, were on hand to go over the punch list items with them and also to assure the residents that we are there to assist them in every possible way. Updated events were provided, and they thanked Delanco and its staff for being available. The 250th celebration, I participated in Riverside's parade and ceremony. Before the parade, they took the time to read the Declaration of Independence, and I just thought how appropriate was that reading right before the parade. It was very heartwarming. Our celebration was a wonderful event, certainly enjoyed by all in attendance. Our Recreation Commission, including their coordinator, Erin Provenzano, and the subcommittee are to be commended on organizing another great program for Delanco residents. I did attend the 8th grade graduation, and I can tell you that it was the hottest night of the year, again, as usual. We hadn't been invited for several years, so it was very nice to see Dr. T invite the Township Committee members, and we actually were asked to present some awards. It was a joyous occasion for the students in attendance where we applauded for them. We didn't have to wait until the end, and it was just really a fun night for everyone. The Hawk Island cleanup, after reviewing my files, I would be remiss because we had a cleanup, and at that cleanup they asked me, well, how did this all come about? Well, this is my Hawk Island file before we even started purchasing property out there or before Matt did the maps. This is a report that CUPE, the Citizens United to Protect Hawk Island, worked to have done to stop the dredge spoils on Hawk Island. This was done by a group of ladies in town. I was not a member of CUPE. I was a member of the Women's Club that later became involved with them. But they worked hard and long to stop the dredge spoils at Hawk Island Marina. Then they came at Hawk Island. Then they came back. The county came back again, and they were insistent on still doing it. So we had to fight. We reiterated this report. We had a report from DVRPC that also did a report for us. So with the help of Senator Allen, Diane Allen, and the county, we succeeded in getting Hawk Island off the dredge spoils sites, finally. And then we were able to actually purchase land, and Matt did a wonderful job with mapping it, so kudos to Matt. And we had a great cleanup day. Thank you to Senator Singleton and the residents who came out to help. We probably had about 30 people there. 721 Delaware Avenue, we still have two statutes from that property that We will be receiving from Ruthie Zafar's 9/11 statue will be placed at Gateway Park, and the heart will be placed in the circular garden at the Centennial Park. Centennial Park, pre-construction meeting is tomorrow. We will have a better idea when the hardscape will begin after that meeting. Plantings will be done in the fall. We plan to have the dedication sometime in October. The 100 bricks have been sold. That's a great accomplishment. So they will be placed around the circle garden. And a subcommittee for the dedication and time capsule will include members of the History Board, Stephen Moore, and Phil McFadden as representatives from Recreation, and I will also be on that subcommittee. The Riverside Delanco Bridge. They will be continuing to work on that bridge for the next couple months. They have sent emails. They have sent all kinds of information out, so you can expect longer delays. Use another entrance or exit to town. It should be painted once the work is complete, but they have to replace all that timber. They were going to do it last year. Weather did not permit that to happen, so it's going to be a long process. Mike Gott called me, and also George Nicotol called me just to put us on alert that it's going to take some time, and I'm sure they've notified the police as well. So that's all I have, and we can move on to correspondence, Bev, if you have any.
Mayor, I have 3 pieces of correspondence, which I had forwarded to all of you and printed copies for you. We received an email from Nancy Sacca strongly opposing any change to the restricted parking at Hawk Island. We received an email from Martha Colomecca, who, I'm assuming this has to do with the parking.
Hey, Bev. Can you pull the mic down just so everybody can hear you? Thanks.
Did not understand why any resident would want to be at the riverfront at sunrise as the sun sets on the Delaware from that vantage point. And an email that was forwarded to us by Linda Way that she received from Ella Graham, in which Ms. Graham opposes any change to the library's hours to opening at 1 p.m. And that is it.
Thank you. Meeting is now open to the public for comments and questions. This is the general session 2. Hal.
Harold, excuse me. Harold Klingler, 509 Buttonwood Street. I have received the drawings
Good.
of the parks. That's a nice thing.
Good.
But before I talk about that, I did go to the last land board meeting, and at that meeting there, they, I guess, dropped the application from those people with the tractor trailers out there on Burlington Avenue without prejudice. Because, you know, the lawyer for them, you know, went into detail what was involved. Especially the non-prejudice thing and stuff like that. So they've kind of wiped their hands clean of the whole thing. Mr. McFadden was there, so he knows what went on there. And when the lawyer got done explaining everything, which took a while, right, it all got dropped into your lap. So what that lawyer was saying, I'm sorry that the lawyer's not here tonight, or the engineer, but what that lawyer said that you guys would have to put pressure on the municipal judge, which might actually do nothing because he really just does tickets from cars and stuff like that. He doesn't do stuff like that, and it might have to go up to a superior judge or something like that. You might have to sue them or whatever to get them out of there. And it would involve, I thought it was going to be the violations guy, but he seems to say no, it was like the building inspector or something. So it was all pretty much confusing to an average person like me with all the legal jargon. But the bottom line was, it comes down to you guys actually doing something now.
So are you asking?
So I'm asking, are
So-
you guys aware of this, and are you
Yes.
doing something?
We're aware of it. Our professionals are involved and will continue to advise us. There's a UCC case pending. There's also a court case pending, and we were notified by our, I guess he's the building inspector, notified that in order for them to apply for a CO, there's fines in the amount of $324,000 outstanding that have to be paid in advance. So that's one thing, and the Board of Health has a claim against them as well. So we're doing what we can at this time. Professionals are meeting Wednesday to see what else can be determined, and they will advise us accordingly. But we have been advised of all that information. I currently don't serve on the Joint Land Use Board, but Phil does, and I have a designee. So once we have more information to give to the public, we'll do that.
So I guess the bottom line is they can continue to just work and do what they want to do?
As far as I know, the owner of the property is trying to get them off the property. That's something we don't have the authority to do.
Well,
That's the last information that I heard on that.
He doesn't have the authority to call the
He
police
does,
and
but we don't.
have them removed?
That's landlord-tenant law.
That's civil, it's not criminal. You can
That's
just call the
civil. That's
police.
landlord-tenant
You
law.
can do
That's
civil.
between the landlord and the tenant, and he can file a suit in the landlord-tenant court and have him evicted. But that, he has to have cause, and of course, I would certainly think he would have cause for not complying with the township code. But that is not something we can do. We can't remove him from that property. We can only cease
So
his
the-
business.
Are the fines against the owner and not the people that are working there?
The fines are against the owner.
Yes.
They're
right.
against the owner of the property. And
Right.
we could file suit in Superior Court. It could take as long as a year to get any satisfaction from them, from Superior Court filing. I can tell you that right now, with all the years I worked in law. It doesn't happen overnight.
Okay. That's pretty much that. The next thing was this ordinance. At the last meeting, there was an ordinance that was sort of created, I guess. You guys created it and ran it through, except for M. Scott. He didn't agree with it.
Oh, it's the public hearing on that is the July 13th meeting. We are going to have a discussion on that, so if you have any questions, you can certainly ask them.
Well, not so much on that, as far as the data center and that kind of stuff. That really doesn't concern me. It was the way the ordinance was just created out of thin air that night, and everybody voted on it.
I don't think
And
it was...
Scott's the only one that voted no, because he didn't know anything about it.
Actually,
And-
I had reported about data centers some time ago when I attended a meeting of the mayors of South Jersey. They were very concerned about data centers and the utilities that they would actually utilize and how it would affect the municipalities.
Oh, no, I understand all that.
So
It's
it
not
wasn't
the- it's
something
not-
that was
it's not
just
the-
said, and
It's not
someone...
the product, it's how
Pardon?
you got the product. It's not the product, it's how
Oh.
you went about getting the product. And I thought, myself, it was genius.
It was a form that other municipalities have utilized that we forwarded to our attorney for review. He made some recommended changes, and so we reviewed it, and we put it on for second hearing for public is at our July meeting.
So can
Except we
the
have a
public, can the
discussion.
public just propose an ordinance and we just have a vote?
No, it has
No?
to come from us.
Oh.
You can give us comments on it, but you can't just prepare an ordinance and
Well, I just following
could, it's not
what I
gonna be
saw. I saw it and I said, that's a great idea. Why don't I do one? You know?
Well, you could and submit it to us. I don't know where it will go. It depends on what it is, Hal.
Okay, I was just wondering how that went. And I guess the last thing is the parks, you know? So this, I was looking at the Ash Street Park, and I was just wondering, it looks all pretty nice, what I see there, and everything that's going to go on. The only thing else I was wondering about, Ash Street ends right there and goes right into the creek. And did anybody propose maybe putting a boat ramp there?
The only ramp that we are planning to install would be a ramp for kayaks or canoes. No power boats.
Yeah, that
And
looks
as-
like it's in the middle of the.
And as I indicated to you at the
property.
last meeting, Hal, that plan is a conceptual plan that we had to prepare to submit to DEP in order to get the grant.
All right.
So it's not laid in stone, it hasn't gone
Oh,
out.
no, that's why I'm here
Okay.
talking about it.
But yeah, if
Because I
there
see
will
the
not be
kayak
power
thing is in the
boats.
middle of the property.
Yes,
Existing.
That's
It's already
not
there.
really near
It's
the
already
street.
there. It's been there.
yeah, yeah,
Came
it's,
with the property. We're
yeah.
not,
We're not
it's
redoing
already
it.
there. The
We're
boat
just-
ramp is already there.
It's pre-existing. It's been
From the
there.
old marina.
From the-
Yes.
Oh, from the old
So,
marina.
yeah.
Okay. But I was talking about where the street dumps right into the creek. There was no proposal to put a public ramp for the, citizens of Delanco?
No.
Anything
No,
like that?
no power boats,
No.
if that's what you're talking about, no.
Oh.
I think you have stormwater management stuff that
Oh, right in the middle of
dumps
that.
in between those two
Oh,
properties.
yeah, I forgot about that, that's right, okay. All right, so then the, one other thing is Centennial Park. So, it used to be, I think originally it was Vine Street Park,
Right.
and now it's Centennial Park? So
Well,
I looked that up, right?
Yeah.
I looked that up and I said, what does centennial mean? And it says, centennial means 100 years.
we're celebrating our 100th birthday this year in Delanco, so that's why we're naming that park Centennial Park, because we plan to bury a time capsule there, and we're going to have a clock there, and actually, it is a great idea to have that dedicated as Centennial Park for our 100th anniversary of
Oh,
Delanco.
so it has to do with the town, not the park.
It's the town's centennial that
Okay.
we're naming the park, yes.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Christine Holland. I reside at 319 Delaware Avenue, and I'm speaking tonight as president of the Delanco Public Library Board of Trustees. Since assuming this role, I've reached out to members of the Township Committee as well as the Township Administrator, requesting a meeting to discuss the library generally and the current state of the proposed shared service agreement specifically. I asked that dates be proposed for a meeting and was met with silence. When pressed for a response, the sentiment was that it would be fruitless since a request months ago to meet the school board had been rejected. Respectfully, I want to be clear both tonight and for the record that I remain ready and willing to meet with all of the elected representatives for the governing bodies with authority to make decisions regarding this agreement. My goal is simple, to have an open, productive conversation and see whether there is a path forward that serves everyone involved. Earlier this year, the library's longstanding board president was still actively engaged in the red line process, providing feedback and historical context through the township solicitor to be shared with the township committee and the school board. Since then, however, the library has not been provided a clean copy of the shared service agreement that the school board ultimately voted to move forward with. While I recognize that the library is not technically a party to the agreement, it is unquestionably the subject of and the entity most directly impacted by the agreement. Continued communication would have been both appropriate and helpful in giving the impression the library was not steamrolled by outside interests. It recently came to my attention that the Township Committee may not have received information it requested having to do with patron usage during the hours being discussed for elimination. As soon as I learned of this oversight, I promptly provided the data through the Township Administrator in hopes the committee would view the complete picture of how terminating all morning weekday hours would impact our community. To date, I received no feedback or acknowledgement. Today, we have new leadership on the school board, the township committee, and the library board. That presents an opportunity to reset the conversation. Before final action is taken, I believe we owe it to the library's employees and the residents who rely on its services to make one more good faith effort to find common ground. Accordingly, I respectfully ask the Township Committee to postpone its planned July vote until August. That additional time would allow us to meet, discuss the remaining issues, and determine whether a mutually acceptable solution can be reached. If the conversations are unsuccessful, the committee has its August meeting to vote and implement any necessary changes before the start of the new school year. This agreement has remained unresolved for years. Given that history, I do not believe it's unreasonable to devote a few more weeks to ensuring every perspective has been considered before making a final decision. If we can restore communication and strengthen the working relationship between the Township Committee, the school board, and the library, the entire community stands to benefit. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to an opportunity to schedule that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that. Debbie, anybody? I mean, there is a subcommittee, Christine, that's been working on that, and that's Fern and Matt and Scott, sorry.
Call me what you want. It's not
Yeah.
late for dinner.
They've been working on that, so you can only meet with 2 members of the Township Committee, and they're the 2 members that are still addressed with that duty to be on that subcommittee. So I personally can't meet with you regarding that. I'm limited. So I don't know if anybody else has any concerns. If you want to have a meeting with Matt and Fern, if they want to schedule that, that's up to them. If we want to continue the vote to August, it doesn't make a difference to me because 1 more month isn't going to change. It's not going to change the start date because the start date won't start until the beginning of September. That is something that I don't have a problem with. I don't know how anybody else feels.
I have no problem meeting with Christine and the school board. The bottom line is, it comes down to the hours, the morning hours, which is the issue that the library wants to retain. And that's not the township that is taking away the morning hours. The Board of Education has security concerns that came from the county. If we go back and continue, it's going to go up to the State Department of Education, they're going to decide it, and it's going to be that the library does not open until after school is closed, which would be a 3:30 opening. If we want to do that, if the library wants to reject the agreement, to the extent that you recommend to the town to reject the agreement, great, we'll go to the State Department of Education and get their opinion. And the same people who are pushing for these morning hours are going to get the exact opposite when it gets delayed until after school. That's been the only point of contention thus far among little things here and there. The hours is the main issue, and it's a school security issue. Times have changed. The school has concerns, and the State Department of Education and the county superintendent has concerns about people on the property going into a public school building on a public school property. And the library has said, you don't have concerns, but we shouldn't have concerns about the patrons coming into school. But at the same time, you're saying you have concerns about the people going into the school who may be using the bathroom. So you understand there's security issues, but you're saying there aren't security issues. So we're kind of hearing 2 things from the library. So the state, the county superintendent, they're mandating that the library not be open during public school hours. And the 1 p.m. is a compromise. But if we continue to push on that, you're going to get what you don't want. There's going to be a 3:30 opening. Schedule it with Debbie, please.
Anyone else?
The schedule's going to be the same end result.
Hi, Kathy McDonald, 3 John Marway. I just want to ask, with the library, and I understand the security issues, but can't something else be done, that there be some kind of barrier door put up that you could not make an entrance into the school at all? I understand how that's a concern, but or the township may be looking at an alternative place, because I think it's very important to have the library and the programs that they run for seniors and for the children. It's really an integral part of this community, and I would like to see it continue, because I think it just brings a lot, and to have it closed off, there just seems like there should be other solutions. And I understand what the state could do and come in and say, but is it not a polling place during elections?
No.
No, it's not.
The
'Cause
school's a polling place.
The school is, but not the
Not
library.
the library.
Right,
That's
so
a
then you
separate
have-
entrance that's locked down, and there is an entrance that is locked, a barrier door inside the entrance, the vestibule that goes to the library, but it's not a matter of the people going in through the school door, it's a matter of them being on the property. That's what the concern is.
Outside of the property.
Outside the property, walking past where the children go out for playground, when they're out there for recess, that's what we have been told is the concern, and that's why the school agreed to do a 1 p.m. opening, which is after all the kids should be inside from lunch and recess already.
But would that stop people from just driving in the parking lot there, or they would absolutely close that down, even though you couldn't go into the building? What would stop people from being around by that recess? It's an open area, even though it's school grounds.
During school, and the chief, correct me if I'm wrong, during school hours, people aren't
Parking lot's
allowed.
public. That's the issue.
The parking lot is
And
public, right.
that's what the county stated first, that they, like when Mr. Mossop was superintendent at the time, they advised him, when they met with him, that their recommendation was to not have the library open until 3 p.m., specifically because people could enter the parking lot as well as go into the school while children are outside. We were then tasked with, hey, can we do patrols? But the issue is, people are allowed to be in that parking lot because the library is public and it's open. So that's where we're at. But
So
the
if you took
recommend-
away the library hours, that parking lot would no longer be open to the public?
that would be the plan from the county and the state, yes. There's only 2 libraries, if I'm wrong, Scott, there are 2 libraries in our state that are attached to a school. We're one of them, I believe there's another one in Merchantville, I believe it is.
Correct,
Yes.
Merchantville, yeah.
Because it's
And the
2026, they don't want that. And and we don't have a control of that, that's what Scott is saying. We're gonna kind of get what you may not want, because they're gonna say, no, we want to open at 3:30, and that's that.
Right.
And there will be no retort from that.
And the
Well,
Merchantville-
possibly the township then could look for other places to have the, good programs that the library runs.
That's really up for the library association. They run the library. We fund the library. If the library association wishes to look for another place and they are able to afford it, I'm not going to object to that. I understand they are already looking for that.
Well, I just wanted to make a point of how important these programs are.
And
Thank
they're
you.
they're
They
important
are.
programs. And
Yes.
and also just as Chief mentioned, the 2 libraries, it's Delanco and Merchantville. The Merchantville Library, you get access right from the street. You don't have to go into a school parking lot. It's kind of like a downtown sort of area where it is. So we're the only actual library where you actually have to go into the school parking lot where the children are at, or near where the children are at, to get to the library.
And I think Merchantville opens at 2.
They open yet.
Yeah,
2, yeah. So I thought it was 3, but it's 2.
I believe it's 2.
Anyone else?
Harold Klingler, 509 Buttonwood Street. I brought this up before, and I just don't understand why it can't happen. Why can't we move that library to another building?
As
Well-
I just
Other
said,
than
Hal,
that
it's up to the
school.
library. We
What's
we
that?
don't run the library association. If the library association wishes to move to another building, they're free to do that. That's not the township. That's not the township committee. That's the library board association.
Well, I understand. They could move to somebody's house if they wanted to, but I mean,
Well,
but
used to be.
really, that's not helping them any. They're looking for a place that's probably that's as good as what they have. Not to like just move it to some tent or something. I mean,
well, of course not, Hal.
and is the township helping at all?
They haven't requested our help.
We do
They
fund,
indicate, all we got, and it's public record because it came to us via email, they're looking to move into 801 Coopertown Road, is it Coopertown or Creek, where Briscotti's is, the old powerhouse.
so,
But that's
It-
$8,000 a month in rent.
yeah, funding would be, I don't know how they would fund it, because
Have to outfit
we
it.
can't fund that.
Why?
You're going to complain your taxes are going up, aren't you, Hal, if we try to fund?
They're going to go up anyway. You're going to find something else to spend the money on, so what's the difference? Why not spend it on a library?
Well, let's have a referendum on that.
Yeah, I guess we would have
That
to
worked
do
well
that.
last time.
No, think about it.
Anna Weaver, 24 Pennington Court. I would like to thank you for pointing that out, that there's only 2 libraries that are attached to schools, because I lived in Morristown prior to this, and I saw 3 different relocations of the library. But I have to say, those 3 libraries do not match up to this library here. You guys have a gem of a library. I mean, the people give you their heart and soul to it. It's a great spot. I bring my grandchildren. I'm there. We take advantage of the programs. And I'm just amazed that no one is bringing up maybe an alternative location so that the school can have their space, the library can have their security. You mentioned that it's up to the Library Association. How would that work? I mean, is there any other building that they could possibly go into that our taxpayer dollars could be transferred from the school to the new location?
That's something the library would have to research and determine if there's something that meets their needs. The Township Committee, we don't know what meets the library's needs. We don't know what space they need, what requirements they need as far as access, parking, all that sort of thing. That's something, same as any other organization that the township supports. We don't get into the business, and they've made it clear. The library is their business. That's for them to operate, for them to control, for them to follow all the rules that the State Library Association has. So we're more than happy to support what they need. And I don't think that anyone has ever said that the library isn't valuable. We completely value the library. This is a school security issue. That's all it comes down to.
Right.
If there wasn't a change to the hours, I think this agreement would have been finalized years ago.
Well, true, maybe, but those hours are crucial to little ones. Like, I bring my grandkids there, and if there's no morning hours, there goes that program.
I mean, they could simply move to the afternoon. We're allowing the
little
boards
kids nap, so.
After nap, I have a grandson who goes to that.
So, my question was that I didn't know if the library, I don't know how the library's funded. I actually don't know those answers. And also with the library being in the school, if we took it out of the school, would we be dependent on the Board of Education or the Educational Association to help fund them? We're more than we can get residents together to try to start a movement to find a new location if it's affordable.
Yeah,
What about that new location that's empty that the township bought on Creek Road?
401 Creek Road, that one went out for an RFP, and that will be developed to get off the town's tax rolls.
I'm not saying the whole building. I'm just saying.
Well, the whole property is.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and that would be a great idea if we wanted to keep the $3.5 million bond on the town's rolls. And that building needed a lot of work as it is.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would probably be a demolition, that building, because of
The front one, the Friends of
the
Cyrus
front
building,
one, yeah. The library is a valuable resource to this community. I don't think anybody up here doesn't agree with that. I personally do. I have supported the library way before I got on Township Committee. What happened years ago when Joe Miller was the superintendent of the schools, he worked a deal with the township to move the library to the schools. It was a good business decision for him as the leader of the school because it helped their financing. We paid the $150,000 for the construction plus interest over a period of time. And so that's why the library is there. And it has worked out fine for a number of years. And when we were trying to renew the contract in 2020, different administration just ignored or sent back contracts that were totally rewritten. And so we're finally coming to an agreement of the basics, what they have and what they can do. It seems like the only issue that Matt said is the hours, and we have no control over that. I actually did see a letter from the state. They didn't say the hours, but they said that there had to be security issues taken care of. And I think that I think we've done what we can do. And if they find another location, and if they can find some type of financing, because the township's not in a position right now to finance a building for the library. Maybe once we sell 401 and that's developed and we have that back on tax rolls, maybe then there's a consideration that can be met. But right now, we really aren't in the position to do that. But I support everything they do. I've been to many of their programs. And the staff is incredible. Katrina does an excellent job as the librarian, and so does Heather. I mean, everybody who works there, it's, they're dedicated. You can't find people like that. We're not doubting any of that. I mean, believe me, I understand exactly how they feel, how you feel.
Building somewhere that, in Delanco that, nobody's looked into or.
Not that I know of.
But I just want to say that there's a lot of people in Newton's Landing that would, gratefully spearhead a committee or do whatever they can to work with the library to, solve some of these problems so the school can have their space, security won't be an issue, and
then they should work with the library to come up with the solution. That would be wonderful, and I'm sure Katrina would be happy to work with that group. Okay. I mean, I can't imagine turning that down, because I know a lot of people from Newton's Landing actually volunteer time at the library. So
as we're talking here, getting the subject out about finding another space.
Yeah.
Everyone has connections to other people that we don't know, and maybe someone who's listening tonight may say, "Oh, I know about this building," so get the word out. Right. And again, it takes time. Government moves slow, but finding a place to help, the library association.
And I've also learned tonight that the township isn't as involved as I assumed it was. People assume it's the township that's doing this, but as you pointed out, it's the Board of Education, the Library Association, so now we know we can deal with other people and maybe make some progress.
Yeah,
I just wanted to come out and show my support for the library.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The library's been long-standing in the community. I believe this year, and one of the board members, correct me if I'm wrong, 160 years this year, 1866 it was formed, and it started in, I believe, a one-room little house. I think, if I remember correctly, it was on Buttonwood and
it was
Vine.
on Buttonwood, yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't here then, but and before I moved into the school, it was at the Camp Meeting Ground Shopping Center in the corner next to the post office, that big unit that's owned by, or that's leased by the women's fitness gym right now. And if that became empty, I think that would be a great location.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what size that is, but
Gary Cooper, 3 Edwards Avenue. The money that was put in originally when they built the library, if the association or the township pulls out of that, is any of that refundable? That
money was already paid during the construction period, and right now, that part of the contract has been satisfied. Right now, we're on a basis where we just pay for our percentage of the utilities and upkeep. So that's already been done, and no, it's not refundable, unfortunately.
Yeah, we pay 2.7% based on the square footage of the school to our part of the library, so that's what it's paid as quote-unquote rent.
Stephen.
Hello, Stephen Lohr, 2800 Colgate Avenue. I just had a couple of questions. I was on the Board of Education from 2015 to 2020, and I tell you the library issue is nothing recent. It's been an ongoing discussion for many, many years. While on the Board of Education, myself and another member of the board who I didn't agree with everything with, but one area that him and I agreed on was getting a resource officer for the school district, which is a partnership between the Board of Education and the Township Committee. At a prior meeting, I believe it was the one when school security was discussed and Committeeman Bartlett brought up the CUSAC report. It was mentioned that the township was looking into a resource officer with the school district, which I think is a great initiative. And I was just wondering, I have another question, but that's my first one. I don't know if that's a question for the chief. What's the status of that?
We're hiring one.
What?
We are hiring one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We
So-
had a budget for that.
Yeah, we did.
So did the district.
That's excellent to hear. I'm very happy that, we had a willing Board of Education and Township Committee willing to pursue that, which we did not have at the time, years ago. Second question I had, it's kind of like an idea. The Burlington County Library, located in West Hampton, which is the headquarters, contracts with, I believe it's still Occupational Training Center, Burlington County, for an attendant to basically sit at a podium out front. They're not armed, but their job is to be a deterrent for, things that we don't want to happen in the library. Basically, they're there to observe, watch, de-escalate if they can, but also more importantly, contact emergency services, police department, or EMS services if needed. So in addition to the resource officer, if there is a question of school security with the hours that overlap, because it's my understanding that even with the change in the agreement, you're still going to have some hours that overlap with the school, especially when the children depart. So to further the security initiatives, which I'm all for, why doesn't the township and the school district, and in consultation with the Library Association, look at adding an attendant outside the library as another extra pair of eyes and another barrier between that, between the library and that door? You can also look, and there's a lot of private security firms. Now, I don't know the laws that dictate school property and everything, and municipal and county might be different than the school district, and they are. But I just feel that in addition to, if these hours changes are very paramount to security, I would think that you would be looking at other things in addition to just changing the library hours. You'd be looking at a resource officer, and you would also be looking at, maybe adding an attendant there to help deter, things that could happen. It's just another barrier. So I'm just putting that out there as an idea. And last thing I'll say is I agree with the new president of the Library Association, Ms. Holland. I think communication may not be the communication you want to hear, and it may not be, an opinion that you agree with. But the important thing is that you sit down, you discuss it, and as Ms. Holland pointed out, you have new leadership on the library board, on the library board and on the Board of Education. And I believe the new school board president, Ms. Schwindelin, was at a township committee meeting when I spoke, and when I was bringing up school board, and she came to the podium and she talked about the great relationship that the township committee has with the school board. And, and I think that's fabulous, and I think it's great, and I think that therefore there should be, and based on what she said, there should be no problem with just sitting down with members of the township committee, the school board, and representatives from the Library Association, and seeing if there's anything left that can be worked out, and hearing all sides. At the end of the day, it may not change anything, but the important thing is to remember that we're all Delanco residents, and we all want the same thing. Okay, and just because it's an opinion that we may not want to hear does not mean we should slam the door in their face. So that's the last, I'll end on that note. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Anyone else? Dave?
Dave Russ, 228 Maple Avenue. I don't go through the school to go to the library, but is there a door there that locks to keep kids and other people from going back and forth? Because we have volleyball Monday nights, and the doors can be locked because they don't want us going anywhere else. The last election, the school was open, and you had people from the public going in and out of the school. So I don't know if there's a door there already, or maybe there could be a shared services agreement where the township and the school put a door there that could be locked so people can't go back and forth. I don't know whether there's a door there or not.
I think it's the actual entrance. The entrance to the library is open to the public, and it's open to the playground area. You know, it's the playground area is off. I think that's what it's about. There is an area that can be locked off inside the building, as I understand it. I mean, I remember seeing the gate where sometimes it would be actually closed. And I remember getting a key from the library if I wanted to use the restroom.
Right.
But I think it has to do with the entrance to the library. It's this, that entrance is where people come in, and there's a school entrance on one side and a playground on the other. So that's the issue with the state. I don't think it has anything to do with that locked area.
That door is locked already, Dave.
Oh, okay.
There's a door when you go into,
Yeah.
from the side parking lot, you go into the doors out there. Those doors are unlocked. If you go to your right, you can enter into the library. If you go to the left, that's the entrance into the school. This is all in that vestibule. The doors into the school, they're locked, of course, during the daytime. But the issue isn't that. It's the issue with the people on the school property, as we understand it.
Right.
People coming
All
on
right,
to the
just
property.
one other thing I'd like to say. The story time programs and stuff, I would see kids come up very happy to go in and get story time, coming out, or if they had crafts. When I used to go in there, they would show me what they did, or laugh, and they're happy, and it would be a shame to have that disappear. That's all.
Yeah, I understand.
Scott, could you summarize what exactly the hour changes are from what they are now to what they're proposed to be?
Right now, the library is opened, and I don't have it in front of me, so actually, I think it's in the...
Yeah, it's in the agreement.
My library binder, like Kate's Hawk Island binder.
Yeah, exactly. I have that too. I have a library binder.
Mondays and someone from the library board, correct me if I'm wrong, Mondays and Fridays, the library is open from 10 a.m. to
Till 5.
p.m.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, they're closed, and
Tuesday and Thursday, it's 2 to 8.
Thank you, Nancy. And the proposed hours are Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's with Wednesday being open now. Wednesday currently closed, and Saturdays remain 10 to 2.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy Mutnick, 100 Lilac Lane in Delanco. I've been listening to the conversation about security, and the thing that's presented to the library board is that the school board has decided that to solve the security problem, that we should only open at 1 o'clock. Clearly, the issue is, are the children safe from 1 to 3? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. But I think that we need to address the security. So couldn't we set up a meeting? And I know, people are going to say, well, be quiet, or the state will close us until 3 o'clock. But if we go to the state, the superintendent of schools, and say, here's our issue. What do we need to do as a community to make the children safe? Do we need to have a policeman on duty in front of the library? Would that solve the problem? So I think that before we go to, let's cut the hours, why don't we, like in full daylight, go to the state and say, we need help. We love our library. It's in the town. We can't afford to do another library somewhere else. Can you help us find ways that you feel that, and we feel that the children are secure, but without cutting the library hours? Why not give it a try?
Nancy, if you'd like us to go to the state, if you're saying as a library
I'm
board
not-
member, you want us to go to the state, we'll go to the state. You're not going to like the end result. That's what we've been told,
Well,
but
you
we're
know-
happy to go.
In my life, I try not to have both sides of a conversation. I have my side, and then I wait to see what the other side has to say. I don't presume that I know what they say. But if we go to them and say, here, we've got a problem. We as a town can't afford, at this moment, to build another library building. We love our library. We want it to stay where it is. We want our hours the way they are. Please help us design a security solution that you think is appropriate. Why not? I mean, what do we have to lose? We haven't
your
tried-
morning hour, your early afternoon, okay.
Well,
Ms.
but the
Seminara,
point is, it's like we're
if you could,
quaking.
can you reach out to Dr. Tartici tomorrow and
Yeah.
request that he
Wait,
contact the
wait.
State Department of Education to
Excuse
get
me.
their formal written opinion?
Scott,
Yes, Nancy.
I am not speaking as a person on the library board. I am on the library board,
Mhm.
but I would like us, the board, to have a meeting before, I have no authority to authorize you to go ahead and do that.
You don't need authority to tell us to do that, Nancy. We could go directly to this library
I would
board.
like you not to do anything until the school board has a meeting, and the school board will take a vote on whether we want to risk doing it.
No, the school board won't take a vote. The school board already came up with their hours.
Not the school board, the state. I'm standing here as a citizen, not as a member of the school board. I'm simply standing here saying, why don't we try the alternative, like going to the state, asking them to help us design a program that they think is appropriate.
Right. After the library board meets and you'd like us to go to the state, we'll go to the state then. But
I really think
you
that-
really don't want to do that.
I think the only way to resolve some of these issues is that if the library wants to sit down with the subcommittee of the Delanco Township, that meeting should be arranged. I really think it should be arranged. If they're now willing to do that, we've tried to do it in the past. I don't know. Matt and Fern, they're the subcommittee. I'm not permitted to meet with them. But what I'm saying is if they want to have another meeting that Christine is proposing, then do it. What harm can come out of that meeting?
Well, we're willing. The question is, are the two members of your subcommittee willing to do that?
I think we already said we would, and we've tried to do that, and Ms. Barrett declined it, saying that the library board is not a party to the agreement, and they are not going to meet with us.
Correct.
Well, as a member of the board, I have no recollection of that whatsoever, and I've been on the board for about 6 years.
Then I would suggest that well, I'd love to see the minutes, but you guys don't post the minutes online for anyone to review. So, maybe talk to Ms. Barrett about why she said that to our solicitor.
That's what I'm proposing. Christine, if you really want this meeting with Fern and Matt and our administrator, just the library at this time, or do you want the school board there? Propose it. I don't have an email proposing that, but I wish I were permitted to attend. I'm not. Sorry. My hands are tied at this point.
Oh, and by the way, the door issue that people are asking about, the door has always been locked. We had no access to the school because that door was locked and we did not have a key.
Mm-hmm.
It's the school board that opened the door, and it's the school board that took the locks off the bathroom.
Right, because it's not the library's bathroom, it's the school's bathroom.
It was behind a locked door.
Right, but ultimately the school owns the bathroom.
But how could it be the school bathroom if they kept the door locked? I don't understand.
The
So
school-
library didn't have a bathroom?
You're allowed to use the bathroom, but you can't change the locks.
Right, but the school always kept that door locked because they said it was security.
And the door is locked still.
No, it is not.
The door into the school from that vestibule is unlocked, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, times.
That's locked.
What?
The door from the library to the school is locked at all times.
Yeah, I thought it
you
was.
said that it was unlocked, that they unlocked it.
The main front door is always locked.
Yeah.
You know what, I feel like we've got to resolve this in a way that makes, that is more, I feel like we need the information from the state.
We
That's
have
all.
been trying to work on this. This has been 6 years in a process. There's
Believe me.
been 3
I'm
different
retired.
subcommittees for the library and to work with the school. And this is what it's come down to.
All right.
So at this time, I don't know, if you two are willing to address another meeting, that's where I'd like to end this conversation. If you're willing. What harm can it do?
I'm fine with meeting.
Okay?
I'm fine with meeting. And I think I already said that Christine should schedule that with Debbie, and we'll get that meeting on the books, and we could move it. I'd like to see that meeting as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So this is not belabored any more than it has been. We already delayed voting on this a number of months ago when it should have been voted on in the first place, because we're still back on the same thing, the same hours is
Right.
the issue. And
But I'm suggesting we approach it from another angle and look at the security angle that meets everybody's needs. I'm just, their suggestion was, well, we're going to solve security by cutting the hours. I'm saying, let's explore the other ways to solve security. There has to be other ways.
Once you open that door with the state, there's no closing that door. If that's,
As I said, maybe the board can get together and we'll make a decision about whether we want to risk that or not.
That's the risk.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I just want to add that I think I want to congratulate the board and everybody who worked on the event yesterday. It was really beautiful. It was very nice. People
Thank
really looked like they were enjoying themselves.
Thank you.
And I think,
Okay, please.
we didn't mention a count of people, but I think it was roughly, we had about 1,000 people out there yesterday easily.
It was really crowded, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay.
Nope.
Al, okay.
Al Reba, 1605 Second Street. I just want to talk about yesterday's event. It was an amazing event. They seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I want to thank everybody up here. Chief, 3 officers were great. They really intermingled with everybody.
Yeah.
Bevan and Ern were awesome with the Township Committee tent. Was happy to see that history was there. Vern was there. You guys were on a float in the morning and you must be tired because you were there at night. You even hung out and helped us clean up. So we were all soaking wet. So Bill, once again, my right-hand man, was there, helped me through everything. Matt, same thing. Carolyn, kudos. She put this together for months and months and months. I don't think people realize how much goes into this. So, Matt, Fern, Bill, Carolyn, I want to say thank you, appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, these events are getting bigger and bigger. We have 2 more. We have National Night Out, and then we have our Centennial. So, National Night Out is August 4th, I believe. There will be fireworks there. It's going to be a great event. And then our Centennial is going to be one big event, so I hope a lot of people can attend that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Al. Anyone else? I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public, and we'll move on to our discussion items. The first item is the proposed revision to ordinance 2026-10, an ordinance of the Township of Delanco in the County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the code of the Township of Delanco to include and designate data centers as a non-permitted use in all zones within the Township of Delanco. Matt had made some recommendations for a change for that ordinance. They were sent to our professionals, and our professional was not in favor of the changes. It's up to the Township Committee whether or not we continue with the ordinance as we had stated, the public hearing to be at the next meeting, or if we make changes, or if we drop it. So personally, I would go with the recommendation of our council and keep the ordinance that we proposed at the last meeting and have the public session for July 13th.
Well, as you saw, I prepared my comments. I think the ordinance was put together rather swiftly. It's a template ordinance that had no forethought. Clearly it's copy and paste from another town because they couldn't even get the fact that it has mayor and council as the person approving it. So the Township Committee never discussed this ordinance. This was put in our agenda package last month, or the last meeting, to review, and there was no other discussion about this.
So we're having a discussion now. I'm satisfied with the ordinance that Doug prepared for us. He's reviewed the recommended changes, and he is satisfied that the ordinance that we have is boilerplate enough to get started, and that in the event that changes need to be made, once there's more information, we can make those changes. But that the ordinance you proposed, he was not in agreement with that, and that's why we have professionals.
Remember that cannabis ordinance that we adopted, banning all sorts of cannabis, and then we tried to make revisions, and we see where that went. We're banning something outright without taking into consideration Delanco Township. I'm not in favor of adopting a boilerplate ordinance that any of the other 365 municipalities in the state could adopt. If that's how you would like to do it, then we'll move forward with how it was drafted.
I'm satisfied with the way it was drafted.
I think it was recommended by Assemblyman Singh, actually passed it down as well to the different Burlington County towns. That's where we got it from. I think it was the Pinelands ordinance. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Pinelands, and I think there was another, I thought it was Pemberton Township as well.
Yep.
Because it was sent to me as well, and we talked about it when the mayors met, and I did bring that to the Township Committee at one point. but I didn't bring a sample ordinance at that time.
I think the land use board did talk about it a little bit too, Phil.
And yes, they
Yes.
did, and they would be, they haven't commented on it yet. It was sent to them for master plan review and consistency, and they'll have that meeting on the 7th, I believe, Beth?
Yes, that's when they're.
And then their professionals will get back to us on the one that we have submitted.
I understand what Scott's saying, though, about not having a discussion, because we pulled this parking ordinance off because we didn't discuss it, and we really
Right.
didn't have a, discussion item to discuss the data center ordinance, and I think that has more effect than changing a parking ordinance from a couple hours, so I understand where he's coming from.
And to be clear, I'm not against the ordinance. I want to make that perfectly clear. I am not against the ordinance. I'm against the ordinance as drafted.
I do think it's in our best interest just to move forward with it, and then we can revise it, even if we have to do it as the subcommittee, Scott and I, as the code enforcement and construction zoning.
This is not, this is zoning.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would have code enforcement on
No,
that
that's one
subcommittee.
subcommittee. I'm saying we're the code enforcement zoning construction subcommittee.
Yeah.
So we would look at it as a subcommittee. If that's something you wanted to do, Scott.
We could look at it again after. When this
I'm
goes to
not
public hearing.
suggesting a subcommittee be appointed for this ordinance. We're either going to adopt it, or we're going to have the public hearing at the next meeting, or we're going to drop it, but we certainly aren't going to change it to the revisions that you suggested at the advice of our professionals.
I believe that's what Carolyn was saying.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Approve it,
Exactly.
Yes.
then subcommittee meet
Right.
together, and if
If
changes need to
changes
be
need to
done
be
with
made.
Doug,
But we need,
Then move
and
forward.
after we hear from the Joint Land Use Board as well. And the Joint Land Use Board may have recommendations. They should probably be included in any subcommittee.
Yeah, I think it should be part maybe of a master plan revision process. There's a couple of things that could be updated in the master plan, so it could be maybe part of that.
Right. So anyone else have any comments about that?
Other than the minor change from council to committee, and knowing that once
Yeah.
it's passed, that we're able to refine or go back and make changes as a governing body to move this forward, I believe is appropriate.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any comments on that?
I don't know.
Okay, so now we'll go back to the parking ordinance, which I received some comments about, as well as the township committee. And one of the things that I realized was 9 p.m. to sunrise. Well, sunrise is 5:30 some mornings, and I don't think we should allow anybody to park on the side streets for the river at 5:30 in the morning. I mean,
Why not?
why? What? Give me a good
I
reason
don't think that should be
why.
blocked in the first place.
So
That
they
ordinance-
can go and
Park on my
Again,
street at 5:30.
towns, they're taxpayers. They want to be able to go down and walk on the river, drive their cars there. They should be able to park there. There's no
I
reason
think
for them
All
not.
this ordinance, the existing ordinance
Let me
does.
say this, let me say this here.
Okay.
No problem, Chief.
Let me say this here. We are not getting inundated with calls for people parking all along the river at night at all. And when we do, we move them along. But when residents call and say, hey, I live in Newton's Landing, I like to come and walk in the morning, but I can't park down there. Is there a reason why? I'm like, well, because it's an ordinance. Well, do you know why? And I said, man, all I can do is forward it to the committee. But these are tax-paying residents that want to be able to, everybody has a different time frame and
Right.
schedule. Some people, like, I remember Mr. Templeton would lament that someone drove down the street at a certain time. Well, some people work overnight. So when they're off, they're still awake. So they want to go take a ride down by the riverfront at night.
Yeah.
They want to go sit at the river and maybe sit and think. But again, to say that they can't go down there and park till 8 a.m. is ridiculous.
But they can park on Second Street.
Well,
why do they have to?
I think the main reason for this was, number one was the Hawk Island issue, but the other reason was we worked, it was a tireless meetings going over these hours for the riverbank, for the issues that were happening there. And
But I'm telling you, as police, and I've been here for 20 years, we're not having major problems down at Riverfront.
no, because it's 8 o'clock in the morning now.
No, I'm talking about at night. I'm talking about at night. We're not having a bunch of problems down at Riverfront.
No.
Right.
No, it's because of what we've done.
No, it's not.
Listen, I disagree.
That's not why.
I disagree, Chief. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
You can disagree, but the facts remain that I can show you all the calls for service. That's the thing.
I haven't received
let
a
me
call
finish.
from
Let me
one
finish,
resident
Mayor. Let me
who
finish,
wants
Mayor.
to park on those side streets
And
before 8
that's
o'clock.
you, but I'm getting way more than you. As chief of police, I get way more calls than you.
Exactly.
So if I'm telling you what residents are calling and saying to me,
Right.
you can tell me about one person that called you all you want, but I'm getting inundated with calls from all these residents that I'm tasked with trying to provide a service to.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to get you to understand.
Okay.
We built a $1.2 million park, and nobody can park down there till 8 a.m. And if they do want to go down there, they have to park a block away. What does that solve? Nothing.
And
no
it's a
one's
complete-
going down there at 5:30 in the morning to do anything facetious.
And it's a completely different issue than the parking over by the gates on Hawk Island. It's complete,
Yeah.
number one, there's not enough parking. On the roads that lead up to Delaware Avenue, you have plenty of parking. It's not a parking issue.
At all.
Frankly, the ordinance was passed for the elitist Delaware Avenue residents who didn't want people parking next to their houses overnight.
Agree.
Period.
I don't agree with that.
You don't have to agree with it.
It's just the reality.
You don't have to. It benefits nobody but the people who live directly adjacent to it. It does not benefit the township as a whole, and that's what I am here to represent, the township as a whole,
And that's
not
what I
just
got
people
saying.
who live on
Those are calls
Delaware
that I
Avenue.
get when people are saying that
Right.
if they're taxpayers as well, as I said earlier to the gentleman and his wife, other taxpayers are saying, wait a minute, we pay
Right.
taxes too. So why can't we park on the streets where we
I
pay
wish we would hear
taxes?
from those taxpayers, because I hear from the taxpayers who don't want to change the parking, but I haven't heard from one taxpayer that wants to change the parking. Has anybody up here have an email or something? I've never heard from anybody that wanted to change that parking to sunrise from 8 a.m. No, I haven't. I mean, I would certainly convey it if I have.
So because you haven't heard it doesn't exist?
No, I'm not saying that, but we're the township committee. We're the
If the
ones.
chief is telling you that, why wouldn't you respect what the chief is saying and believe what the chief
I
is saying?
respect what he's saying, but let them come to us. Have them come to a meeting. That's why we have these meetings.
And I encourage them to come to the meetings, but you and I, we all know, and Scott is lamented this as well. We sit in here and nobody comes to the meetings
Right. Especially on hot.
unless there's something on an agenda specifically to them. They won't do that. They're only going to call you. They're only going to call Fern or Carolyn or Mr. McFadden or Scott, depending on who they are. But I'm getting those calls daily. And, you know what I mean? So I gave documentation to Debbie and Carolyn today from our New World system where we take our calls from. I can't change them or fix them.
Can
It's
we
what they
have
are.
a copy
It's right
of
there.
that?
It's for everyone. I have it for everyone.
Like a half an hour ago.
I gave them for everyone to
I'd
look
like to
at.
have a copy too.
But those are for the issue at Hawk Island, Vine, and Walter. And you can see that there's no calls there. Except for
Oh,
the
no,
calls.
because I think what we've done with Hawk Island, the rules and regulations.
No, this is prior to that.
Totally
I
different.
have 2024 where there were no calls then.
Yeah,
Except
I know.
there were no calls then.
They called the township committee members. They wouldn't call the.
Not at 10
But
o'clock
this
at
was
night.
also before the park was open
Right.
legally and mandated and regulated
This
with
is before
park
then.
rules and
Yeah.
knowing that it's patrolled and
All
everything.
all of the
No,
calls
but those
were
people
for.
would call me. I can tell you, they came to this meeting and they complained when we finally did change. But every one of them that were here used to call me.
But they would never call the police. And I have the
They
doc- you can
don't
see
like
it. You
to
can look
call
and
the
see.
police.
But then how do they want something done then?
I don't know.
And then
And
are
I
you
told
encouraging them to call us then?
Call the police.
Are you encouraging them to call the police?
I do encourage them to
And what
call
do they
the
tell you?
police.
What do they say to you? I'm just curious.
You heard Donna today. She hates to call the police, but she finally
But
did.
then says that they're out there, but how am I going to know? How am my officers going to know?
Yeah.
When they drive by, there's nobody there, right? But then when they come back, and again, there's no one there.
It's up to the township committee. I am not in favor of changing it.
So what happens when a contractor is legally allowed to start work at 7 a.m. or a landscaper is allowed to legally start work at 7 a.m.? They have to park a block away?
Mm-hmm.
That's how that's written right now. That's absurd. And should be illegal because it's disenfranchising the residents.
So,
So we move to 7 a.m.
so if we move it to 7 a.m., but not sunrise,
What's wrong
sunrise
with
is
sunrise? What are you concerned is going to happen
5:30.
at sunrise? That some drug dealer is going to come sit down there and do drugs at 5:30 in the morning? Like, what are we exactly concerned about at 5:30 in the morning that's going to happen? I'm just curious.
Well,
During
some
daylight hours, what is going to happen by the river? What's happening in our heads?
I can only tell you what the
You know, I see
residents.
at 5:30 in the morning.
So if
riding
there's
bikes and
residents
jogging.
here that want to talk about it, let's talk about it. If anybody here has an issue with the parking on these side streets on Delaware Avenue, please come forward because,
Well, we had it on the agenda for
You wanna say
first
anything?
reading tonight.
I
Come on.
know, but
And then-
I know, but we're gonna have we'll have a continued discussion next meeting.
So my name is Mary Wood. I live in 543 Delaware Avenue, and I'm not an elitist, by the way, Matt.
You weren't
Excuse me.
there when the ordinance
No,
took place, Mary.
You said elitists that live across the street. I'm not. Okay. First of all, I've been in the service. I'm a retiree. I'm
Thank
an
you
Air
for your
Force.
service.
Fine. And that is actually my first house I ever bought. I'm very happy and, very quiet when I first moved. Now, suddenly, we have a park, right? And I pointed to you because I know you're very part of the park. But the thing is, we live there, there's more noise. Construction cars come, they're louder. I thought the quiet hours was at 7:30, I didn't realize they were at 7 o'clock, you said, right? Yeah. But nonetheless, some of us, we work late, we get up early, some of us on shift work, we want to sleep a little bit longer. We hear cars, my house is right on the corner. I hear cars idling sometimes. Am I gonna go there and say, hey, shut up your car? No, we leave them alone. I don't say much. Why? Because there's not really, once in a while they're disturbing us. I'll go outside and tell them to turn off the car or turn on the music. That's what I do, Chief. I don't call you every time.
Yes, ma'am.
The only time I called was, I've called a few times. Most recently, I called about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, when the porta potties were there. And like 3 kids were, more than 3 kids, like 4 kids were pushing it, and that's about the only time I called. And 3 patrol cars came and talked to the kids, and they went away. Why did I call? Because that was dangerous.
Okay.
The kids could have gotten hurt. The porta potty could have been knocked over.
Right.
You would have had an environmental situation. With all that would have been spilled over, okay?
Understood.
The other thing, as a taxpayer, as a resident of Delanco, I want to sit here, I want to enjoy my house peacefully, just like everybody else. Nobody goes and parks in your house, plays light music. Maybe they do, I don't know. But I know for a fact that they come to our streets and park there, they make noise. For sure the traffic has definitely increased a lot since the park has been renewed. But the park has always been there. And there's always been noise here and there. And sure, we'll tell them, people are they're pretty calm, they'll quiet down and stuff. But we've called a few times, believe it or not, we called a few times because we saw people taking the stones from the river. That was shocking to me that people would go there with a barrel and take stones, and we call the cops for that. They said there's nothing they can do about that. But nonetheless, as a resident, I'm sure the rest of like anybody else in Delanco, again, I'm a taxpayer, I don't want the additional noise. That's the problem. If I'm sleeping late because I want to get up late or I'm going to work late, I want to be able to sleep that extra hour. We're not saying people cannot go out there and walk. We're not saying that at all. All we're saying is to keep the hours as they are. Because again, I'm a taxpayer. Now, what's so hard about parking on 2nd Street or at the end? Nobody's going to call anybody. We see them. We see people park there. If there's no disturbance, we're not going to say anything. That's the whole point. But to come in here and you did say elitists that live down there. I live there. And I take offense to that because I'm not an elitist.
Mary.
I mean, I worked my whole entire life.
He wasn't talking about you, Ms. Mary. He was talking about years past. He believed,
Again, this is 2026, 30 November, come on, or excuse me, June. We're in the present. There's a bunch of different people there now. I don't know what happened in the past, and I'm not interested in what happened in the past, to be honest with you. I want to move forward and work together with everybody. That's all I want to do. But this discussion's here, I mean, I'm sorry, but I find it a little nutty. I've been here 10 years already, 11 years. And I do want to get involved to help out, but this is not helping, I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I want to, again, keep it quiet down there, it's nice. Not only that, but also the environment, the animals. I mean, there's a lot of noise up there going on now also. It affects them as well.
But we're not talking about noise, Ms. Mary. We're talking about someone is parking their car at Center and Delaware Avenue and getting out and being able to just to walk down the river. Not play their music, just go for a walk. But they're taxpayers, but again, just what I'm saying, what the complaint is, the same way you keep referencing yourself as a taxpayer. These are other taxpayers. They're saying, why can't I pay on the street where I'm a taxpayer in this town? Those are the calls that I'm
Let
getting
me ask you a question. Why do we have rules?
to keep order. I know what the rules, man, but,
Okay, then.
but they're taxpayers that want to be able to utilize, and there's no reason not to allow
Why
it.
don't people park down Delaware Avenue?
They're not allowed to.
Why?
Ask them. I didn't make the rule.
I didn't make that rule, but when I was
No,
younger.
I didn't make the rule. We enforce it.
There was
Same
parking,
reason.
there was parking on Delaware Avenue
Same
at one
reason,
time.
Well, it's one of the same reasons. People go out there and walk. It's dangerous. There's a lot of walkers,
Right,
a lot of
exactly.
joggers, a lot of people go walk their dogs. It's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
And again, even today, people can even go park in that street. That's fine. But once you open the gates and you say legally and change the E-code that says, oh, parking at, what do you say, Sunrise, there's gonna be more problems. Why do we wanna start that when it doesn't hurt nothing? You know, you said in the last committee meeting that somebody called you, a neighbor. So why are we changing the rules for one neighbor?
But she's saying her. I'm telling, that's why I said me. As Kate said that she hasn't heard from someone. Carolyn said someone called her. I'm saying that I get inundated with calls because people are going to call the police first because they don't want to get in trouble. So they're saying, hey, we see that the sign says one thing. Is there any way that we can possibly change that? So I'm saying I can't change it. All I can do is make a reference to committee
Then
members.
why can't you just say,
and
well,
ask.
look, that's the rule. Just
So-
let them
No,
adopt
because it's an ordinance and they're allowed to come and talk to committee and ask about it. This is where you're talking now.
Yes, but again, it sounds like two people here want to change it just to change it, and it kind of like it's funny, ha ha ha. let's
Am I
change it.
laughing?
I said some people from the committee.
I'm not laughing. I don't find it funny.
No, and I'm not gonna, and I haven't called you, so maybe I should start calling you.
No
Tell
one
you to
says-
start
has
like
said
that.
what's
But
funny, ha, ha,
you're
ha,
laughing, and my
change it.
point is, though, bear with me, please. My point is that, again, we just want some peace and quiet, not just dirt, but everywhere. If there's an ordinance there, it's there for a reason. We have rules for a reason, right? To avoid chaos.
Yes, but that's not what I was put there. That's
We
what
all
I'm saying.
want peace and quiet, but unfortunately, we have a
Yeah.
waterfront that people attend, and, you know, we have to make it accessible to them. 8 o'clock is not accessible, especially not to our code
Yes,
when
it
it's
is.
noise
People
hours.
can walk to the waterfront.
Like I said, 7 a.m. is our quiet hours.
And for
They
your
can
awareness,
start working at
that
7 a.m.
park there, like I said, I've been living there almost 11 years now. And I seen people in that park way before it was renovated, okay?
Sure.
Simple as that. So the only difference is that now more people come, and there's more activities that causes more noise and everything else and disturbance.
But the noise isn't changing, Ms. Mary. The noise is still the same. 7 a.m. is when people can start work. Just because we're saying 5:30 they can park doesn't mean they can make noise. The ordinance for the noise is still the
How do you
same.
control that? That's my point. When you open the
Because
gate,
if somebody's making noise, yes, we can. Because if somebody's making noise and they're being loud, we're never going to stop them. We're going to tell them they have to leave.
then we're gonna change the hours
Not to
again.
mention, the park is also open from sunrise to sunset. So the park's open as soon as the sunrise comes up. You just can't park there.
Okay.
So just so you
And
know.
again, what's so hard about walking from down the street up there? It's not that complicated.
So
Just
you're
one
saying
person-
inconvenience
just
to
one
people on
person
Second
complains.
Street. You don't want them parking on your block, but they can park on the block behind you. Let them make
They
the
can park
noise back
wherever they
there.
want to, but all I'm saying, the reality is that we don't call the cops every time. I know I don't call you. You can look in your stuff and you don't see Mary Wood on. Okay? Maybe, like I said, once this year I called, and that was what happened there. But the reality is that people are pretty calm. That's the reality, right? But once you open the gates there, forget about it. It's gonna increase. It's nature, human nature. It's gonna happen. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So why disturb that if it's fine right now? Again, and the only reason I said one person brought it up to, that's what was said in the last meeting.
So I will continue the conversation on this at the next meeting as well, because it was stated that there would be a public meeting at the next meeting. So we'll continue. We're not going to do any action on this at this time. It's not on for first reading, but we'll have another discussion at our meeting on July the 13th. So be prepared to be here, Mary.
Sure.
Gary?
Three Edwards Avenue. You know, I do the walking, and I'm down the riverbank. Sometimes I am down there at 6 in the morning. Some of it is, some of the older people get up and they want to go down there and sit there and in the end blocks and have their coffee or their sandwiches or whatever. They don't want to park try to keep an eye on their cars 2 blocks away. I mean, I've seen people down there with walkers and stuff. They don't really want to go that far. So if the parks are open at 7, they should be allowed to be parking before 7. So that's it.
Yeah, 7
I
is
remember
not,
when you could park
7's a
on
little
Delaware
different than sunrise. I think 7's a little different than sunrise, to tell you the truth.
You know, when I was 17, you could park down there.
Me too.
And you could park on the river side, not on the resident side, but you could park on the river side. And, you know, the police would come up and down, put flashlights in the windows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it was mostly a lot of kids, you know, down there, necking, whatever you want to call it. And, but I walk down there all the time, sometimes early in the morning. And I just want to report there's a little old lady who parks down there right in front of the sign early in the morning and eats a sandwich. And I look at her, I'm like, man, you're going to get in trouble. But she don't seem to care. She comes back there and eats that sandwich. So
I don't know, I can ask the chief. I don't think that you've had any problems where if somebody is there before 8 o'clock that you have enforced that rule, have you?
They tell them to leave.
Have you moved people that are sitting?
I can show you the incidents. We move them all the time.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, we make a move. What we'll do is we'll go out there and say, listen, you can't park here because the time says such and such. You got about 10 minutes, can you go? And we make them leave.
Oh, okay.
Even at nighttime, same thing after 9, we make them go. I can show you the instance for it.
I thought you had indicated that you didn't do that.
No,
but
I never
must
said
have
that.
misunderstood.
I didn't say that.
I just think it's crazy. We spent all that money on a park down there that you really can't visit unless you're walking. And we should have spent that money on a library.
There you go.
Al Bravo, 1605 2nd Street. So with the event that we just had this weekend, it was a whole big to-do, handicap parking. Okay, so we had to find handicap parking. I want to say, using our numbers, there's roughly 5,000 people in this town. I own 1605 2nd Street, and only 1605 2nd Street. Why do the people on Delaware Avenue think they own that entire area is ridiculous. If I want to go down there at 5:30, I'm going down there at 5:30. I'm going to have to deal with the chief. This town is a town of Delanco. We're not separate. We're not Delaware Avenue. This is getting old now. We should have access to that. We spent all this money on this park to be able to enjoy it. Not for one road to dictate what goes on in this town. It's getting old. Do what you need to do. Let us enjoy our parks. Let's enjoy our roads. We need handicap parking down there when we have events. Everything's ADA compliant, so wheelchairs can get down there. Do we think handicapped people are going to park on 2nd Street and walk a block and go down there? Let's be realists. Common sense is not so common. This is ridiculous now. Why is this so redundant? Between this and the library, taking these meetings forever is bull. Okay? Put your foot down, bring the state in, let's do what we got to do with the library, change the law so we can go down there and enjoy our parks.
Well, I don't think, I don't know, do you agree 5:30 sunrise?
Yes, I do.
I don't. If the noise ordinance is 7, then I say 7, but not 5:30.
What time do you get up for work, Kate?
It depends on what time I have to go in.
Roughly.
6:30.
6:30. So say you want to go down there and have your coffee and just look at the river. You live on a creek. Not all of us live on a river or creek. You want to go down there and enjoy yourself and look. Decompress yourself before you go to work. For a stressful day of work, you want to go down there. You're not allowed. Can't do it. I can't believe how many people pay taxes here. I didn't realize I have to pay taxes. We're all tax-paying citizens. We're all paying for the same damn thing. Not just because Delaware Avenue wants to restrict us from what we can do. Okay? I'm getting tired of it. Maybe I just want to stop paying my taxes. It's this way I'll get recognized. Okay? We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this town for one street to dictate what happens in this town. It is ridiculous now. I'm not going to call them elitists, but they are ridiculous.
Anyone else?
I'm a little confused. When you were discussing Hawk Island earlier, I thought it was just for that area down there. But it's for the Hawk Island area, Orchard, and all of Delaware that you were discussing?
So the parking from 2nd to Delaware, from Edgewood down to Lilac, and then
But I
down
was
to
just
Willow.
saying earlier
You
when
have to have permits to park there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and they added the permits obviously on
Yeah, I know.
Walter and Vine.
It's
Yeah.
before 8 and after 9, but
No, just after that, like to have parking there, those homes, they have permit
Oh,
parking
yeah, I
for
know.
their cars
if they
as
have,
well.
if they have visitors or
Right.
they park on the street. But I was confused because it just mentioned Hawk Island. You were talking about Hawk Island and Orchard. I didn't realize that it was that and all Delaware Avenue. So the parking times are the same for the whole thing then, right?
No, they were different. The
Yeah.
parking times for Vine Street and Orchard and Walter, it was actually, right now in the books, it's from 6 PM Friday night till 8 AM Monday morning. You can't park there without a permit. And the issue was that some residents, again, I was saying, that live on Walter, they weren't, according to the ordinance, they're not allowed to have permits. So, Walter, it's a one-way street.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You work there, all right? So you know how the parking is
Yeah,
there.
right.
So they want to have company, their company would park on Orchard.
Right.
Well, guess what? On Friday, you can't come and park there because at 6 PM, you don't have a permit, you can possibly get your car to. So those residents were saying, wait a minute, we're taxpayers too. Why can't we park on the street that we pay taxes for? That was the issue.
The ordinance is to make that the same times as Delaware Avenue.
Yes.
10
Okay.
PM.
Okay.
We changed from 6 to 10.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else before I close this portion of the meeting to the public? And anyone else from Township Committee have any comments on this? Because this will be on discussion again at the next meeting, since it was published that there would be a public meeting at the next meeting. So we will discuss this. And in the meantime, I'd like to see, I'll get a copy of that. Yeah, and thank you, everyone. Anyone from the Township Committee have any additional comments?
Nothing at this time.
And a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.